Hello and good morning, or could be good afternoon, it could be good evening. Depends on obviously when you are watching this latest Glasgow Rangers Nation video. This is channel that brings you your team every single day, brings you your Glasgow Rangers latest news update. And you know what? If you need that fix, if you have to have your Royal Blue fix, if you need your Rangers fix, this is the channel to come to. So hit the sub, you ring the bell, set it to all. You'll never miss out on any of the great content. Obviously, we've got a podcast tonight as well, slightly different podcast tonight. You have to tune in tonight to find out more about that tonight at 7:30 here on Glasgow Rangers Nation. Fortunately, Victoria won't be with me. She's busy partying in Toronto at NASA. So it will be a slightly different pod. So come and join us for that. Okay, we've got a lot to get through in this video. We're going to talk about Michael Beale. We're going to talk about signings. We're going to talk about Carlos Bocanegra. There's a blast from the past. We're going to talk Scott Arfield and Charlotte FC. We're going to talk about Jonathan Panzo. We're going to talk about Nicholas Raskin. We've got a lot to get through in this video, so please obviously stay tuned right to the very end to get all your latest news. Obviously at the end as well, we'll be thanking our members. Okay, so let's start off with news about our fantastic manager, Michael Beale. Now, Michael Beale obviously has been exceptionally busy since obviously Ross Wilson left the club, very much taking on not only the sporting director role, but also his very own manager's role as well. And, we've heard in comments that players who've already joined the club have made about the difference it made speaking to Michael and the clear vision and plan that he had for the club, and how once they'd had that conversation with Michael, once they discussed with Michael, about the future of the club and the plan that he had, they were enthused and they had to come to the club. It really is testament to Michael Beale's management capabilities. And when you talk to players at the club, it seems very much that as the overwhelming message that comes in constantly about his ability to manage, his ability to talk to the players, his ability not only to obviously get the players on side, but also to maintain discipline as well. Michael Beale does appear to be an excellent manager in the making. So Beale heading in the right direction, but Michael Beale has been talking about Rangers transfer plans so far this summer. So first of all, he said that the transfer plans were ahead of schedule. Now, obviously, Michael spoke about the need to obviously bring in players and get them in before the pre-season begins on the 30th of June. However, obviously that is now way ahead of schedule, he says, for obviously 15 days before the 30th. But Beale said we are heading in the right direction and we are ahead of schedule on this. Now, the other interesting thing that Michael spoke about when he talked about the player trading model was he talked about the fact that obviously, yes, we've had 4 arrivals and more of that in a moment to the club, but he said that over the next few coming weeks and days that we would see the start of the trading out side of the business, and players would start to head out of the club. Obviously we've had players already leave in terms of those who are out of contract, but it now seems that it is on the cards that 1 or 2 players could be moved on for transfer fees. There's obviously a lot of supposition, a lot of rumour as to who those players could be. Ben Davies has certainly been linked with a move away from the club. Antonio Cholak, 4 million move to the Bundesliga. Borna Barisic's future obviously remains unsettled. Obviously, congratulations to Borna and Croatia, who obviously qualified for the Nations League Cup final, I think it was, or whatever it's called. I'm not into international football, so I don't really pay a lot of attention, but congratulations to Borna nonetheless. But, even though Borna has been rumoured to be negotiating a new contract, there is a rumour going around that they could also sell him on. So, there is players that have been mentioned with a move away from Ibrox this summer, and it seems that is definitely on Michael Beale's mind when he talks about the trading out will begin very soon. So obviously keep your eyes open, keep your ears to the ground, and we never know, we could have some news here about players leaving the club as well as players arriving at the club. But you know what, I have the utmost faith in this man to do the right thing, to bring in the right players. Michael Beale, since he's come to the club, has proved himself, I think, on at least 2 fundamental parts of the game. Number one, his ability to sign players. Todd Cantwell and Nicholas Raskin have both come in and looked very impressive, showing that Michael clearly has an eye for a player. And obviously, secondly, is Beale's ability his tactical ability, his ability to be fluid in defence and attack and change formation, and his ability to tactically work against opposition teams. I think it's fair to say in the last couple of games against that lot from across the city in the league, Michael Beale has had their number. So, he's doing a good job, and I think we have faith in him, we have trust in him, and he will get this right. That is my firm opinion. Now, obviously, the big news yesterday that came out of the club was the signing of Sam Lammers. I'm not going to dwell too much on that this morning in this video, because if you want to see my take on the Sam Lammers video signing, go back and check out the video that we dropped here on the channel last night. Just a reminder of that. That's what it looked like. Rangers signed Sam Lammers. That dropped last night. Go back and check that out. But yes, there he is. Sam Lammers proudly holding up his number 14 jersey, obviously filling in the jersey that Ryan Kent left, but perhaps also the fact that he's Dutch, perhaps an ode to Johan Cruyff mainly. Johan Cruyff was very famous for wearing the number 14. Michael Beale looking like he's just come back off his holiday there, doesn't he? Looks a bit tired from the journey maybe, but obviously that's a testimony to how hard Michael is working. But we obviously welcome Sam to Rangers. We wish him all the very best for the future and all the very best, in terms of goal scoring and firing this club to 56, which has obviously got to be the aim for next season. But like I said, I'm not going to dwell too much on Sam Lammers. If you want my take on Sam, go back and check out the video from last night after this video this morning. Okay, so let's move on to talk about a player who has left Rangers, and that is this hero, this superstar, a man that I am going to genuinely miss. Scott Arfield, so many happy memories of Scott, as I've said on previous videos. The semi-final goal against Celtic in the Scottish Cup, his 2 against Aberdeen this season, his goal against Celtic at Ibrox in his first season. Scott Arfield has been an absolute hero, and I love Scott Arfield. And like I said, selfishly, I would have loved to have seen him play, but I totally understand his motivation in moving away. I get that 100%. Scott wants first team football. He wants to go and play football. He doesn't want to sit on the bench. He wants guaranteed minutes. Unfortunately, Michael can't offer him those guaranteed minutes. So, you know what? He's got to move on. And yeah, he was out of contract, and there was a lot of rumours going around that he was going to be offered a new deal. However, obviously, that did not come to light. But obviously, I think a lot of you will agree with me that we will miss Scott next season, not just for what he did on the field, but also his presence off the field in terms of his professionalism, the way he was a leader, in the dressing room and on the field as well, on the training pitch, the way he was an example to others as well. I think that was a key thing. However, it has been announced that Scott Arfield has joined Charlotte FC in the MLS. Charlotte FC are one of the newer teams in MLS, owned by David Tepper, who is the owner of the Carolina Panthers NFL franchise, one of the richest men in America. Now, Charlotte Football Club didn't qualify for the playoffs last season in the MLS, finished 9th, I think it was. But they welcomed, according to a lot of news and rumours coming out, Scott Arfield to the club. They also play in blue as well. It's blue on the main bit and white on the sleeves, so Scott will feel right at home there, running out in a blue kit again. Does this mean now, I think, that Charlotte FC are now every Rangers fan's MLS team? Is that the team we're all going to back in the MLS from now on because of old Scotty Arfield? But, I think you'll all join with me in wishing Scott all the very best for his future and all the best in America, all the best at Charlotte. And, Charlotte fans, any Charlotte fans who want to tune into this, you're getting yourselves a great player, a great professional, a great guy, a great man. And that's 3 things, great man, professional, and player. They're the 3 things, that's all you want at the end of the day. You want those 3 things from your players. You're going to get everything in that in terms of Scott. Someone who comes on, who gives everything, who gets you goals, who fights, who battles, who tackles. As a midfield player, gets forward and back. You are getting a really good player in Scott Arfield. So, and please know that obviously we didn't want him to go. Unfortunately, obviously, we had to lose him. So we wish you and obviously Scott all the very best once Scott joins up with Charlotte FC in the MLS, in the old United States of America. And obviously, Rangers have had American players who've come over here and been some great success. Maurice Edu, for instance, Carlos Bocanegra, Claudio Reyna. The list, there's a list of players there now. I'm not going to talk about every player because I'll be here all day trying to name players. But we're going to talk a little bit about this man here, Carlos Bocanegra, obviously who starred for Rangers. Bocanegra, Kate was a player here. He did a good job when he was playing here, and many fans loved Bocanegra as a player. But news obviously about him in his current role now. Obviously, he is the current sporting director, technical director for Atlanta. I think it's Atlanta United. I think I'm not quite sure. Anyway, it's a team in Atlanta in Georgia in the United States in the Major League Soccer. Now there was rumours coming out that Bocanegra was reportedly interested in the sporting director role at Rangers. And the Rangers were talking to Bocanegra about this role, given obviously that Carlos has an understanding of the club. He has an understanding of what it is to be a Rangers man. He has an understanding of what Rangers fans demand. He has an understanding of how the club works, given the fact that obviously he played here. However, it now appears that Carlos has ruled himself out of contention for the job, preferring to stay in the States. So obviously, Rangers will have to carry on their search for a new sporting director. Obviously, many names have obviously been linked, but as yet, no appointments have been made. And yes, whilst Michael Beale has obviously done a very good job, recruiting players this summer, I think we've all got to admit, if you're living in the real world these days, that you know, managers can't do what they used to do. No manager can do what the likes of Graham Souness used to do. At the end of the day, you've got to look at it in terms of the fact that managers have to be there. They have to be there, responsible for the coaching of the team, the picking of the team, very much the motivation and the play of the first team. And yes, obviously, I do agree that they should obviously identify their players, pass those to the sporting director, and the sporting director then does obviously the negotiations, the contract, etc. I don't like the system where the sporting director picks the players. I really think that is a stupid system to use. But Rangers do need to appoint a sporting director. We need to take some of the weight off Michael Beale. I think long term across a whole season, when trophies are being competed for, when the pressure is really on, you need him to solely focus on what he's doing on the field, coaching that team, improving that team. And if he's constantly also looking at negotiations, contracts, etc., he just cannot do that. So obviously the search goes on for a sporting director. Hopefully very soon Rangers will have somebody appointed, somebody obviously who can come in and do a great job for the club. Okay. In other news, Rangers legend Ali McCoist says that he has absolute belief in the job that Michael Beale is doing at Rangers. And Ali has gone on to choose the transfer that he is most impressed with so far. Obviously, Rangers have brought in Kieran Dowell, Dujon Sterling, Jack Butland, and obviously now Sam Lammers. Obviously, I always also thought to be on the tail of Searle Dessers and possibly Jose Cifuentes. Again, if you're not quite sure where we are up to with the Jose Cifuentes deal, there was a video released on the channel yesterday. What is going on with Cifuentes? Go and check that out to find out a little bit more about why Cifuentes hasn't concluded his deal to join Rangers yet and why we could be at risk in losing him to a Premier League team like Brighton. Beale's had a really good record since he's come in to the club. McCoist went on to say that he does, however, feel that that Mike's transfer window is. He didn't specify players or positions, but he did say there's a lot to go on. He has said that for him, Jack Butland is the player that he is most happy about. He compared it to the signing of Joe Hart for Celtic, although I think Butland is a better keeper than Hart. Hart obviously is rickety era man himself, and obviously as we saw when Pep Guardiola booted him out of Manchester City, his lack of ability on the ground, his lack of ability generally is a reason why obviously they replaced him with Edison in that long term. So overall, for Ali McCoist, it's Jack Butland that is the player that he is very much most impressed with. And Jack is a good keeper, isn't he? He's 6'5", he commands his area well, he commands his box well, he's a leader, he's a good shot stopper. I think he is someone who will make a huge difference for Rangers this season. Yes, I do feel a little bit obviously for Robbie McCrory, in terms of the fact that there is that Robbie came in, he did well. He only conceded the one goal, had all those clean sheets, yet it seems very much like he has been forced down the pecking order. So, there is that obviously that you do have to feel slightly for Robbie and for obviously but we do all obviously wish Jack Butland the very best, and I do think that Jack will be a great success at the club. Like I said, we do wish him all the best. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Jonathan Panzo deal. Now, Jonathan Panzo is a young left-sided centre back, and he's someone I think if we do bring in, that could well spell the end of Ben Davies. Now, it appeared that there was a bit of a glitch in the old transfer dealings, and obviously German clubs and English clubs were reportedly also sniffing around Jonathan Panzo. Obviously, one of those being Coventry City, the other one being West Bromwich Albion. But, in terms of if Panzo wants to stay in the United Kingdom, in Britain, why would you not want to join Rangers over some small Mickey Mouse team like Coventry or even, West Brom? Rangers can offer European football. They can offer the ability to win trophies. They can offer so much more. There's 52,000 every other week. Your Coventry City, you're lucky if you get like 15,000. They're such a poorly supported team. I think their average crowd was 19,000 this season, way below what Rangers have. So, Panzo is someone who we've got a lot to sell to. Now, Panzo apparently, obviously, there was a bit of a breakdown in negotiations, and obviously Rangers will know the man that they are negotiating with, none other than Ross Wilson, former sporting director at Rangers. But it is apparently emerged in the media that Rangers are about to launch a fresh attack and a fresh bid to sign Jonathan Panzo. It is said that Michael Beale is very keen on the player and is anxious to bring him in from Nottingham Forest, where the club that currently owns him. He obviously was on loan at Coventry last year, did very well indeed. And obviously Rangers now are very heavily interested in bringing Panzo to the club. It does appear that a new round of negotiations will be ongoing over the next few days and into next week. Now the transfer window is open, as the two clubs try to agree on a figure for a transfer fee, and obviously Rangers will need to agree on personal terms with Panzo. For me, I think that will be a quality signing. I think he's quick, he reads the game well, he's a good tackler. He's a young lad who we can develop and get better, and I think playing alongside the likes of Connor Goldson and John Suter will definitely help him and make him an altogether better player. Let's hope that we can get that deal done for Jonathan Panzo sooner rather than later. Finally, this morning or this afternoon or this evening, depends on when you are watching, congratulations to Nicholas Raskin, who is currently over with the Belgian under-21s in an under-21 tournament representing his country today. Belgium under-21s beat Israel under-21s 2-0. Both the goals coming in the second half, and both the goals scored by our very own Nicholas Raskin in the 51st and 64th minute. Nicholas obviously getting forward there, getting goals, something we obviously hope to see at Rangers next season. One slight downside, obviously, to this fantastic performance by Nicholas is the more that he impresses at under-21 level, the more likely other clubs are going to come sniffing around him. Clubs from down south, for example, who can offer him big wages and obviously offer a big transfer fee to Rangers. Obviously, that is the player trading model, but we certainly would be very sad and sorry to lose Nicholas. But a fantastic performance by Nicholas nonetheless today, and we just say well done, Nicholas. Great, keep it up, and mate, and bring it back to Glasgow when the season starts. That's what we need to see you back in Glasgow doing that, scoring those types of goals. That is the way forward. Son. Bring it on. Okay, guys, thank you so much for choosing to watch Glasgow Rangers Nation. I hope you've enjoyed this new segment. If you have, please hit that sub, ring that notification bell, and if you can give the video a like, guys, it really does help. Just want to finish off by thanking everyone who likes the videos every day, everyone who watches the videos every day, people who've sent in super thanks, guys. Great way to support the channel. If you want to hit super thanks, send a couple of pounds just to support the channel. That does all help. These guys here have obviously committed 99 pence a month to support the channel. These are our amazing members of the channel. Thank you so much to these guys for all your support. Absolutely superb. And like I said, if you want to join, hit the join button down below or go to the homepage of the channel and find the join button there. Well, thank you so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, guys, we'll be back soon if there's any, obviously, breaking news. But obviously, there's a podcast tonight at 7:30 UK time. And that's as in terms of the 16th of June, guys. If you're picking this video up at a later date with myself and someone else. That's all I'm going to say for now. Thank you so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. Remember, guys, we are the people.